YouTube, what is going on? We are back with another off-season video covering the Tennessee Titans, and we've got their schedule now. So we know who they're going to be playing, when, we know what their primetime games are. So we wanted to get on here, talk about the schedule. Three of them. We want to get on here. That's more than most teams, I would say.
There's several teams with four.
Yeah, there is. So, but, I mean, compared to like some of the other small market teams, I feel like that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of respect there, I think.
I'll take three.
Yeah, for sure. And so we just wanted to get on, talk about the schedule a little bit.
And I mean, we don't have the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, so...
Thank God. Thank God.
You just knew that was going to be the thing, the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football, just because they have Trevor Lawrence now.
And the worst thing about it is, with the way that the Titans play, you would end up seeing Trevor Lawrence to Tim Tebow for a game-winning touchdown.
Okay, right quick.
On Thursday Night Football.
Let's be honest here. Just as a guy and everything, like Tebow, think he's a good guy. He's not going to make this roster. There's no way he makes this roster for the Jaguars.
I don't think so.
I mean, if he does, then you know it's just Urban Meyer being like, okay, let's keep him in the building for something.
Let him block for Derrick Henry. Bring him, let him block for Derrick Henry.
I'd be more willing to bring Delaney Walker back.
I was about to say, yeah. I mean, that's kind of a bad
If we're going to bring a guy back for playing tight end, let's bring a guy back who's actually a veteran tight end.
I can recognize that's a bad take immediately. But let's go ahead and...
We caught it on camera.
Let's go ahead and start talking about this schedule.
And if you haven't seen it yet, we're going to pop it up on the screen for you.
So that way you can check it out.
See, who all we're playing and when.
Exactly. Okay, so first of all, what stands out as some of the games that are going to be the toughest? Because I want to bring this up first, not trying to brag or, actually I guess I am kind of bringing up a little humble brag here. Last season, we made one of these same videos, and I made the statement, a late season game at Lambeau Field is not a good situation for the Titans, and we know they went and just got absolutely destroyed.
They did. One thing that I really like about this schedule, we have a late bye week.
For sure.
Which
week
means
13.
Guys can start resting up right there. We go into the last stretch, which honestly the last stretch of our schedule,
easiest part.
I really like that last stretch after the bye week. But another thing that really stands out to me is definitely our first 7 games, and even looking at it more, the first 9 games. Man, that's a tough stretch.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you have the Cardinals, who were in playoff contention. You have the Seahawks, who were in playoff contention. Colts twice in the first 9 weeks. The Bills, Kansas City, the Rams. I mean, the Rams have a really good defense, and Matthew Stafford isn't as young as he used to be. I do think he's lost a little bit. Yeah, he's not like a younger Matthew Stafford. Right. But he does bring a different dynamic to that offense for them. So
something different than Jared Goff.
Yeah, so that first 9 games, man, that's tough.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough stretch. And I mean, overall, I feel like their schedule is kind of tough.
Well, apparently they have I may be wrong on this, but I think someone said they have the 7th easiest schedule.
Just by looking at it, I don't see that unless you're taking into account that it's sort of getting weighed down a little bit by the fact that they've got the Jets, they've got the Jaguars twice.
I mean,
and the Texans are going to suck. I mean,
so again, the first 9, and 2 of those first 9 being primetime games. The Bills on Monday Night Football on October 18th, and the Rams on Sunday Night Football on November 7th.
I think that right there, October 18th, October 24th, those 2 games in Week 6 and Week 7, I think that's going to be kind of a pivotal moment in the season because it's Bills and Chiefs. Yes. And Bills is on Monday Night Football.
And coming off a short week.
Coming off of a short week, they play on Monday then Sunday. It's only one less day, but obviously Monday Night Football, it's a little bit later in the day, and still that one day can make a difference, in my opinion, especially when you're about to go play the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think that's going to be kind of a pivotal 2 weeks right there.
Luckily, both games are at home.
Yeah.
So, maybe that helps out a little bit because you don't have all the travel. everything.
Right.
But start off the season with the Arizona Cardinals. Going to see some familiar faces back from DeAndre Hopkins, J.J. Watt, and Malcolm Butler.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's kind of funny to me, a lot of people that were hyping up Malcolm Butler before the Titans cut him, talking about how he was taking on all the wide receiver ones last year, holding his own, and then now that he's on the Cardinals, A.J. Brown's going to cook him. Don't get me wrong, I have a lot of faith in A.J. Brown, but you can't go from one extreme to the other. I think it's going to be a really good matchup because these guys were going against each other in practice. So they know what the other one's all about. Maybe A.J. Brown has something way down deep in his bag that he didn't show Malcolm Butler, and he does cook him on it. But, that's going to be kind of a tough game. And one thing I'm looking forward to in it is seeing Derrick Henry either going to the outside or going up the middle and meeting up with Zavon Collins. The big linebacker who they said is going to be starting for them in week 1. Yeah. Sorry, Collins, but I think you're going to get your welcome to the NFL moment in week rookie 1 treatment from Derrick Henry.
So we were kind of,
hopefully that doesn't age poorly.
So, you kind of already started to mention a couple of them a little bit, but just scanning through the schedule here, what kind of stands out as some individual matchups that you're anticipating you think is going to be kind of fun to watch for?
So just out on the field, the individual matchups?
Yeah, the individual matchups. One that I already want to...
Go ahead.
One that I already want to throw out there because I think that by this time, the rookie Caleb Farley will be solidified as the number 1 cornerback on the team.
Let me ask you this. Do you think he's going to be able to start week 1?
I would hope so, but...
obviously, I don't want the Titans to push him back. If he's not ready, let him get completely healthy.
But I think there's a good shot he's out there, though. But I'm going to say Kansas City Chiefs, Tyreek Hill, Caleb Farley. I want to see how that goes, and I want to see... And honestly, the week before, Stephon Diggs. Because you've got 2 different types of wide receivers there that he's going to have to take on if he is our number 1 guy.
Being more physical with Diggs and then having to match the speed with Tyreek Hill.
Exactly.
Which, just saying, according to their on-field miles per hour,
Farley should be able to do.
Farley is almost a full mile per hour faster than Tyreek Hill, if not a full mile per hour faster. So I'm looking forward to that as well. For me, really, it's the start of the season if Farley is able to, if he's 100% and ready to go.
Yeah.
Him matched up against DeAndre Hopkins.
Exactly.
Because I feel like that's what, if he's not ready to go, I think we're going to see Jenkins on DeAndre Hopkins. But if he is, I think that's going to be the matchup we get.
Rookie,
the guy that they have as their lockdown corner, for the future.
Yeah.
You get to come out and your first matchup is against one, if not the best receiver in the league.
Week 1, and DeAndre Hopkins, numbers aside, is probably the most talented all-around wide receiver in the NFL.
Just you throw it up to him, and most of the time he finds a way to go up and get it.
Exactly. And so that's what Caleb Farley's going to have to combat there. He's going to
the Titans haven't had the best luck going against DeAndre Hopkins.
Exactly. And here's the thing. They're going to test him. They're going to throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. They're not going to go the whole game and say, well, he's covered up. We're not going to. They're going to throw it up.
He's going to get his.
We saw that against the Buffalo Bills when he made the catch in the end zone. They did not give a shit.
He's DeAndre down there somewhere.
Yeah, he's somewhere. And Caleb Farley's on him. Janoris Jenkins is on him. It does not matter. They're going to throw it up to him.
I will say, another reason I do hope Farley's ready to go week 1 is because just purely from his size.
He's got a better matchup there.
It's a great matchup.
Yeah, for sure.
But, to open the season, if he's 100% ready to go, you go from DeAndre Hopkins and even A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, some of these speed guys as well. To the next week, we travel back out west again, play the Seahawks. Well, first week we play at home, so that's not bad there. But then we travel out west, play the Seahawks. You have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So, not like
He's not getting a break there.
No, because you have the physical receiver in Metcalf, who also has really good speed.
Yeah, I mean, like straight line speed, probably like one of the best in the NFL.
I want to see that matchup as well.
The only thing you need to know about DK Metcalf is the dude's going to be an Olympic sprinter, most likely. So
you could easily tell who was the football player in the qualifier that he done, but hey, he didn't do bad.
Yeah,
he didn't place last.
Just competing with those guys, I mean, on what they do on a daily basis, just goes to show how like crazy athletic he is.
Right. But I mean, there's a lot of good matchups here. Like you said, going to the game against the Bills, I think that's going to be a really tough game, especially considering how we embarrassed them last year.
For sure.
They are coming.
And they're a solid team.
They are going to be looking for revenge. Primetime game. Like you said, we're going to have the Diggs and hopefully Farley matchup. Then you got the Chiefs, who really anyone in their receiving core, tight ends, is going to be a tough matchup for this Titans defense.
Yep.
And, really put Farley on any of them or Janoris Jenkins on any of them, and that's going to be a good matchup.
For sure.
The Rams, Jalen Ramsey against A.J. Brown.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to be coming. So, Ramsey, one of the top corners, if not the top corner in the league, arguably. So, that's going to be tough.
One thing that I'm interested in, the Titans have not seen the Patriots since wild card of two seasons ago, wild card round, and Derrick Henry sort of bent them over. So I'm interested.
To put it nicely.
I'm interested to see how the Patriots are going to come back. Bill Belichick, it has that on his mind.
He does.
He's also got on his mind what Mike Vrabel did to him late in the game. And so, he has some bad feelings there towards Derrick Henry, towards Mike Vrabel. So I'm ready to see that matchup and see how their defense goes about stopping Derrick Henry and how Belichick tries to come out and kind of redeem himself against his protege.
Last year the Patriots weren't the best team.
Right.
They did have a lot of players set out last year. Have those players coming back. I honestly think this is going to be a really good game just because of the battle of the minds of Belichick and Vrabel.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them are going to be reaching deep, doing everything that they can. And, it's a little bit later in the season, so you have Mac Jones, who
could possibly be starting by this point.
I'm going to say that I think he will be starting by that point. I would honestly be surprised if he's not starting
Week one.
For
sure.
But I could also see them giving him a couple of weeks, just to sit on the sidelines, see the game going on, and then before putting him out there. End of the schedule, not
a whole lot really to...
Not really worried about. I think the Steelers are... I think that's going to be a completely different game from how it was last year. I don't think we're going to let them go up on us and then try and work our way back into the game. I think it's going to be a much different outcome. Plus, we now have Bud Dupree, who's going to get to go to Pittsburgh and put Ben on his back.
I think in the stretch after the bye week, I think that one of the main things to be concerned about is have the division locked up before you have to go play the Texans.
Yes. And
in Houston.
I will say, I think the two toughest games in that last stretch is going to be the 49ers on Thursday Night Football and the Dolphins. Because over the last couple years, which Tua's going to have to do a lot of growing up over this offseason and into this next season, they don't have Fitzmagic there to come in and close out the deal now. He's going to have to be able to finish games. But they gave him several weapons now. One he's familiar with from college in Waddle. And they've really been piecing that defense together pretty well too. So they were in the playoff race.
Yeah.
So, they're not a team to look over.
If you'll remember, there was a stretch of like 3 or 4 weeks where the Dolphins defense just went like supernova.
Right.
And had like 18 touchdowns in 2 weeks. And obviously, I mean, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I mean, seriously, there was a stretch of time where they were probably scoring more than the offense.
They were. So, I don't think that either of those two teams are, ones to look over or be like, obviously, it kind of depends on how much growing up Tua does.
Yeah, and the 49ers, they've got their guy too. I mean, honestly, I think he has potential to come in and kind of shock everyone and actually have a better rookie performance than Lawrence and
so
maybe some of the other guys.
Do you think Garoppolo's gone?
Yeah, I think the other.
Or do you think that maybe the 49ers approach it as letting Garoppolo, start the season? If he's playing well, he kind of holds on to the reins. They keep their young guy back so he can keep developing before just throwing him out there and possibly
I don't know, man.
having confidence shattered.
I don't think that Garoppolo is what they thought he was coming from New England.
I mean, they got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he has just not shown.
And really, he was one overthrow away from probably winning that Super Bowl.
I just don't think he has really shown an ability to lead that offense the way that they want him to. And I think that this other guy is going to have a much better...
Trey Lance.
Yeah, whatever. This other guy. I think he's going to have more
just in case someone's been staying under a rock and doesn't know who they got.
I think Trey Lance is going to have a better skill set to lead this offense. So I think, honestly, we might see, maybe Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Trey Lance.
Ooh, that's probably a little bold.
Maybe it is, but you got 2 weeks already chalked in that Trevor Lawrence was going to be shut down. So
all right.
October 10th, December 12th, weeks 5 and 14, that Trevor Lawrence is just done for. I mean, Bud Dupree, Harold Landry, bring some of these other guys in. He doesn't have an offensive line.
Now, from talking with some other people, they've made some pretty good points with me about starting the season. Titans have revamped their defense.
Right.
Usually defenses start a little bit slower than offenses do. So do you think it's going to take a couple of weeks, which would kind of suck because, first 3 games, Cardinals, Seahawks, Colts, which we haven't really hit on. Carson Wentz. Reunite with an old coach there in Indy, a coach where he's had one of his better seasons with.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not too worried about him.
I'm not either. I think Carson Wentz's career is really over, and I think that that's good for the Titans this season because that's going to give them an opportunity.
I think the Titans have a really good chance of repeating as division champs.
Right, and I think that if the Colts had a better quarterback situation, it would be a lot harder, but I think Wentz's career is over.
So, I am going to say I do see the Titans probably going 5-1 in their division.
Okay, in their division. I thought you were going to say in their first 6 games, and I was going to say that's a little bit of a stretch.
The first 6 games, man, that's tough. But again, jumping back to the defense, talking about how the defense usually starts slower. Especially the first 3 weeks, we have offenses that we're going against that have potential to really go off. Now, Seattle hasn't really done anything, I don't believe, to address protecting Russell Wilson.
Right, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue against the Titans.
Russ isn't as young as he used to be.
Right.
Before he could really make plays with his legs, and even now he can still, extend the plays with his legs, but he gets hit a lot and takes a lot of sacks, which for this revamped defense, if they're able to man up and get after the quarterback with 4, could be really bad for Russ.
Is it the beginning of the end for Russell Wilson?
I think he still does have
a little bit left in.
Some left in the tank, but they got to protect him better.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, for a defense that may start slower, since there's a lot of new starters on that side of the ball, this isn't really the first couple of games you want to see.
It's not ideal, and to be completely honest with you, just a early prediction here, and this is apt to change. Nobody hold me to this, anything like that. I think that there's potential that they take an L to the Cardinals, beat the Seahawks in a close but high-scoring game, and then the Colts game is questionable. I would think that they would win it.
They usually drop one at home to the Colts, right?
Exactly.
Always the heartbreaker.
But I mean, then after that, you've got 2 weeks that are pretty much locks. You've got the Jets and the Jaguars, and then you get into a tough stretch. So I don't think 2-1 would be terrible. 1-2 probably wouldn't even be terrible, because then you're going to come out and you're going to win 2 games after that.
Right, and like you said, not to hold you to it or anything, we are kind of going to do some way early predictions, and as we get closer to the season, we're both allowed to change our thoughts on this and what we think the Titans might start out with as far as record-wise and how they'll finish. I'm going to be honest, right now, just for the whole season, I think that they will end up being either 11-6 or 12-5. So kind of similar to what I predicted last season with either 11-5 or 12-4. I think they're still going to be in that range.
Well, let's, to kind of cap this off here, let's run through all of these games and just quickly give winner a loss. I mean, you up for that?
I'm up for that, and I do want to go on record talking to a friend of the show, Luke Jerkins.
Okay.
Me and him have been talking about especially the first 6 games. And he told me that he could see in the first 6 games us ending up being 2-4 again, just because it's a rough stretch. He thinks the defense is probably going to start a little bit slower just because that's normally how it works out.
Right.
I, on the other hand, am being optimistic, and if Farley is 100% ready to go, I feel like this defense, just with the attitude they're bringing in and the physicality, I think they're going to be firing on all cylinders from week 1. And I think that first 6 games, they're probably going to be 4-2, or at worst, they're going to split them and be 3-3.
Okay, well, let's.
But now we can go down through these games, starting off with the Cardinals at home.
Cardinals, I'm going loss. I'll keep track of my losses so that'll be easier for me to figure out my record at the end.
I'm actually going to go with a win against the Cardinals. I think the Titans' defense is going to find a way to just slow down that offense.
So let's go to the Seahawks. I'm going to go with a win on that one.
I'm going to go with I think Russ is going to find a way to pull it out. I'm going to go with a loss there.
Okay.
Plus, one thing we didn't mention, we get to see Derrick Henry go up against Bobby Wagner and even Jamal Adams.
I mean, that's going to be a defense to not sleep on. They were bad last season, but have potential to be, completely reverse things, kind of like the Titans do this season. So now to the Colts, I'm going to go with a loss here in week 3.
I'm actually going to go with a win in week 3.
Can we just go?
We're going wins the next 2.
Next 2 weeks, Jets and Jaguars both wins. Monday Night Football against the Bills, I'm going to go with a win.
I'm going to go with a loss.
Okay.
Just because, like I said, I think they're going to be coming for revenge. Towards the end of the season last year, they really found their rhythm. Don't get me wrong. This next year, they cannot let, if they want to make a deep run, they cannot let Josh Allen almost be their leading rusher. They need to get that fixed.
For sure.
But I think they're going to come in looking for revenge and probably.
And it's hard for me to put the Titans over them right there because I like the Bills a lot. I think they do everything right as far as decision making with the coaching staff, things like that. But for something just tells me that they're just not going to beat the Titans. So now to the Chiefs. In week 7, I'm going to go with the loss, which would put the Titans at 4-3. I don't feel terrible about that.
I'm going to say that the Titans win this game.
Okay.
Because they usually have better luck against the Chiefs in the regular season than they do in the postseason. And I think for sure by this time, their defense is going to be clicking. they can get after Mahomes more now. They're going to be able to man up on these guys. So I'm going to go with a win.
Week 8 against the Colts, I'll take a win there. I think that they'll get the better of them that time.
Week 8, I'm going to go with a loss.
Then we go to week 9.
Just because it's up in Indy, and I think this year they're going to split them again, but they're each going to get the win at home.
Week 9, the Rams. The Titans got the better of Matthew Stafford last year, but it was kind of a defeated Detroit Lions team. I still think that they'll beat the Rams, but I do think it'll be an extremely tough game.
Man, this one is tough. I think with how that Rams defense is, they're going to find a way to slow the Titans offense down. And
I can see it. 100%.
I think the Rams are going to win that game, so a loss for the Titans.
Yeah, I could see it 100%. Moving on to the Saints.
Not worried about the Saints this year. I'm just going to say, because we don't know. They do have weapons on offense, and their defense isn't bad. But who are we going to be facing? Are we going to be facing Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston?
Yeah, I mean.
And if it's Winston, okay, he may throw for 302 touchdowns, but he's probably going to throw 4 interceptions.
Yeah, and I mean, they've got weapons, but
someone has to be able to get the weapons.
There's only so much that Kamara can do from a handoff, and if you can't get the ball into Michael Thomas's hands, it doesn't matter.
Just stop him on a slant.
I think it's a win there. Texans, week 11, I'm going to go with a win. I think they dropped the one to the Patriots in week 12.
I think that they go in and own the Patriots.
Not because I think that the Patriots are better than them, but it just seems like a classic game for the Titans to drop. So, I've got them at 8-4 now going into the bye week. I'm not sure what you have them at.
I have them at 8-4 as well.
Okay, so then we go to the Jaguars. Not worried about it. Easy win there.
Going to get the win.
I think we both agree that they'll beat the Steelers.
I think they beat the Steelers this year.
I think that they drop one to the 49ers. And I don't know why I think that, but I do.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't know, because Thursday night game, primetime game, and unfortunately, this would put them at 1-3 against the NFC West.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I feel like the 49ers will get the better of them in a close game.
Yeah, I agree.
So that puts me at 5 losses.
So week 17 against the Miami Dolphins, I think they win.
Same.
And then 18 against the Texans, I think they win.
Same here. So that puts us at a 12-5 record.
Both of us at 12-5, which is not a bad season at all.
The only ones for both of us that I could see that flip-flop is, that are tough, or you giving the Titans the win against the Bills and me giving them the win against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Those are the two games that could either make this go from a 12-5 season to a 11-6 season.
Yeah,
or maybe they surprise us both and they pull out both of those games and go 13-4.
Yeah, they could. Or worst case scenario, they drop both and they drop both of the first 2 weeks, because those are tough teams too.
So that put them at what?
10 and 7.
7,
which would be tough, but I mean, hey.
Either way, I still think they win the division.
Yeah,
you gave them a clean sweep in the division, or did you
lost to the Colts.
Yeah, Colts early. I forgot about that.
So we're both got them 5-1 there.
So, but again, I think they end up winning the division. Unfortunately, I do think that it'll come down to them having to win it in the last week again.
It's just because classic Titans fashion. What else did you think?
Not just that, but because the Colts, they get to play the Jaguars twice and the Texans twice, and the Texans are just a dumpster fire right now.
Exactly.
And I think it's going to be a couple more years before the Jaguars really. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is just going to come in and thrive.
Not immediately.
I don't think he's going to have a bad year, but I don't think he's going to have this just excellent year that everyone thinks he's going to have. And plus, his running back buddy from Clemson, been seeing where Urban Meyer is trying to put him as more of a receiver right now.
It's interesting.
I've seen clips of him running one route and Lawrence throwing him the ball and just right through the hands, Butterfingers.
Put him at running back.
So
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But that's all that I've got. I don't really have anything else to mention as far as the schedule goes. So I don't know if you've got anything.
I don't either.
Out there.
I believe we've hit on everything. Like we said, toughest stretch is those
first half.
Yeah, the first 9 games.
Yeah,
and then after the bye week. Good to go.
Be in a good situation after the first 9 games, and I think there's no question about the playoffs, about the AFC South. So they just got to come out firing. They can't have that slow start.
That's right.
But yeah, I think that's all. Make sure, guys, that you're with us on social media. The ones that we're most active on Twitter, it's Titans_time. On Facebook, it's Titans Time. And then we're also on Instagram, Titans Time Podcast. Also, check out our website, titanstimepodcast.com.
Guys, if you haven't already, go down. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications. We're on the road to anywhere between 800 and 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Sitting at a little over 330 right now. We appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, but come on guys, keep pumping those numbers up. Make sure you like the video, share the video, and go down and leave us some comments on the video. Let us know what your way too early prediction is for the Titans record and the matchups that you are most excited to see. Also, guys, next couple weeks we're going to be firing back up our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So make sure you go check that out whenever we get back on there.
Yeah, make sure that you're with us on social media. Like I said, mostly Twitter, Titans_time, and that is where you can find all the information about when we're going to start ramping that back up. You can find, when we're uploading YouTube videos and, occasionally just some tweets about the Titans. We like to interact things on there. Maybe we'll try to pick that up and get some more of that going on. It's kind of tough right now
it's the off season. Things are a little slow.
Things are slow, but that kind of leaves room for imagination.
We got rookie mini camps going on right now. Can, kind of review those videos, see what we, liked.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you, Rashad Weaver looks like a man and a half, and he's looking good.
This has been Titans Time, and as always, tighten up.